Looks good. So thank you for coming in today. I'm Ella Kuhn, Planning Fellow at the Capital Area Architectural and Planning Board. And we are holding a public hearing today regarding an application to add a new commemorative work to the Minnesota State Capitol grounds. The addition request calls for adding a new plaque on the Capitol grounds commemorating Minnesota's Gold Star and Blue Star families. Gold Star families are those who lost an immediate family member in the line of duty. Blue Star families are families that have an active immediate family member, that actively have an immediate family member serving in the U.S. military during wartime. We received the application from Coltrace, legislative liaison at the Minnesota Department of Veterans Affairs, on October 7th, 2026, and staff found the application complete 3 days later on October 10th. The commemorative work is furthermore authorized by legislation passed by the Minnesota State Legislature last year, and up to $10,000 of the plaque's design, casting, and installation will be paid for by the MDVA, after which the department will partner with other organizations to raise any additional funds required. Specifically, our public hearing today concerns whether this application meets the conditions for addition as outlined in Minnesota Rules 2400-2703 Subpart 2. The conditions are pictured here. To paraphrase, addition requests must demonstrate the following for consideration by the board. A, documented public support for the application. B, the work's lasting statewide significance. C, respect for Minnesotans' diversity. And D, evidence of how viewing the proposed artwork would provide an experience to visitors of the State Capitol Mall, which would broaden their understanding of Minnesota's shared history, heritage, and culture. It is staff's opinion that Mr. Trace's application meets these 4 criteria. Not only would the work provide an opportunity for visitors to the Capitol Mall to learn more about the Gold Star Blue Star program overseen by the MDVA, but the plaque would elevate the sacrifices of Gold Star and Blue Star families in the state's cultural memory. These families, who span generations, come from a diversity of diversity of backgrounds and call different corners of Minnesota their home. A note on process. Addition requests follow a set application and review process defined in MR 2400-2703, or the Standards for Commemorative Artwork, Subpart 3. Here is a graphic representation of the application and review process for adding new artworks in the Capitol area. The process is divided into 3 stages: review of the memorial concept, site selection, and design review. And the public hearing and public comment period are indeed part of the review of memorial concept. As you can see, the application is still in the early stages of review, and there will be 2 more opportunities for public comment. 2 opportunities for public comment, 1 during our meeting here today and 1 also during the site selection phase of the application and review process. Following this public hearing, the application will go before the board once more, where they will take these comments into consideration when determining if the application will proceed to the next stage of review. And again, that would be site selection. Another detail of note, the addition request would likely be a plaque added to the Court of Honor. And the Court of Honor is the curved wall on the lower mall featuring a selection of bronze commemorative plaques. At the state capitol, the wall is not full, and there are a selection of blank spaces set aside for future plaques. So the plaque would likely end up on one of those blank faces of the wall. That being said, the location of the proposed work is not the subject of today's hearing. Today, we are exclusively addressing the memorial concept or the application's fulfillment of the conditions for addition outlined in Subpart 2 of our rules, and pictured here again for your reference. We will now open the public hearing for comments on the application's fulfillment of Subpart 2 of our rules. If you would like to make a comment, and you are present in the room, please raise your hand. Each comment should be no more than 3 to 5 minutes. And when it is your turn to speak, please state your name for the record. When you are called to speak, you may sit in the chair to the table to the left of us. Other things, if you're online, here is a little graphic of how to raise your hand online. And once you're invited to speak, if you raise your hand online, please unmute yourself and then mute yourself again at the end of the comment. And if you are joining from a mobile device, here is a graphic here, although I don't believe we have anyone joining from a mobile device. Okay, now we may begin the public hearing. Would anybody like to make a comment? Seeing as there are no further comments, we are going to close the public hearing. Thank you.